welcome to this introduction of Tiego Lease Engine import form. Please start by entering your company code as you are using in your group reporting. We would like your contract ID to be a numeric format. A description of the contract is entered in this column, together with any comments that you might have on the contract. Currently, in this file, you have two different categories: cars A and rental contracts B, and several extra categories might be added at a later stage. That was the first section, general. Then we go into the second section regarding period. Inception period, that is the period when the contract was signed. Commencement period, that is the period when the asset was available to use. And your end period, that is your end period in the contract. Please note that information should be entered in 6 digits, where the first 4 are for year and the 2 last are for month. Column beside this are calculating the term of the contract. Regarding full retrospective method, we give you the 2 opportunities to create that. Actual end period and valid from period. Those 2 columns are used to give you the opportunity to calculate and bring forward the full retrospective method with a minimum of input. Actual end period is the recommended way of doing it, and if you enter actual end period, the contract will be extended using a combination of your notice period and extend months. But if you prefer to enter the contract several times, as you see here, for this contract has 2 different rows, where you then could enter valid from period, and that month will be the month when your changes to asset and liability will take place. Period length could be 1 if your period you are paying for is only 1 month, 3 for a quarter, 6 semi-annually, 12 yearly, etc. Notice period is the period when you need to give notice to your landlord if you would like to leave the premise. Extend month is the number of months that your contract will be extended if you neglect to give notice. Third section is the section for costs and payment. And period payments could either be in advance or after the periodicity. So please enter yes for in advance or no for after. Calculate implicit interest rate, yes or no. Yes if you know the asset value, initial fee, ransom fee and all payments. And no, an N, if it's a rental contract where you do not know those items. Monthly expense is your lease components, which should be excluding any VAT. We then calculate your lease component by periodicity in the column next to it. Then you have 5 different columns for non-lease components, where we show 3 different of them here. Then we have 3 different columns for your non-lease component and variable fees. Enter any service fee in the first, variable fees in the second, and if you have any non-deductible VAT in the third. Following columns are just calculating the amounts for the periodicity of the contract. If asset value is known and you will calculate implicit interest rate, enter asset value, initial fee and ransom fee. And then also sales value at the contract end if you expect to sell your asset at the end of the contract. Fourth section is the index section, which is an optional section which need not to be updated but is recommended. Please connect your contract with an index table. In Sweden we have KPI 1980, which is very common. Enter the base index period when the contract was started, as well as the base index price from your contract. Enter the month when the index will be applied. Index month is the month where we check index current year towards previous year. Any percentage change will affect the price for the contract. And perform indexation is yes if you would like to perform indexation during import. And by entering index information, we will then be able to give you full retroactive method with just input on one single row. So if you have a contract which for instance might be 20 years old, we will index that throughout that period every year with just this single information. Fifth section is information on extension period. Please classify contracts for information for potential extensions. A for the most valuable contracts and C for the least valuable. That is contracts where you have easily could leave without any extra costs. And B contracts which are in between. The sixth section is an automatic control that the information that you have entered is okay. So please do not submit your file to your head office controller until you have a green sign saying OK. The second tab in the file, that's the GL tab, where we would like you to enter your information from your general ledger on your company accounts. So please enter your local accounts and then information on your values by month during 2018. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at some time. Thanks and bye.